So yesterday we completed the anatomy of bacterial cell, in which we studied the various part of bacteria, various different organs which are present inside and outside of the cell. These are also we cover. So the next topic from bacteriology is the bacterial physiology, in which growth and metabolism of bacterial cell. So what do we mean growth? So what is the definition of growth? So in any biological system, growth can be defined as the orderly increase of all chemical components, increase in size, weight, and number is referred to as growth. So this one is a definition of growth. In general, in any biological system, we are considering growth like this. So not only increase in size or not only increase in the number is considered as a growth. So here, orderly increase in all these chemical component, increase in size, weight, and number. But in case of bacteria, whenever we are studying the growth of bacteria, the growth is considered as a increase in number. So increase in number is called as a growth. So whenever bacteria gets maximum cell size, it starts the multiplication. Multiplication of bacteria occurs. All of you know the bacteria growth or bacterial growth occurs by binary fission. Multiplication occurs by binary fission. So what do you mean binary fission? One cell, whenever the maximum cell size is there, it starts the multiplication. So one cell produces 2, 2 produce 4, 4 produce 8, 8 produce 16, 32, 64 like that. So such type of cell division occurred, and that is called as a binary fission. So here so in binary fission, the time required, so few other important definitions are there. The generation time or population doubling time. So that definition is very important. So what do we mean generation time? The time required for the formation of two daughter cell from one single cell. So time required for formation of two daughter cell from one single cell is considered as a generation time or population doubling time. So one cell produces two daughter cell, whatever the time required for that, or 2 produce 4, or 4 produce 8. So whatever the time required for the doubling is considered as a population doubling time or generation time. In all medically important pathogenic bacteria, the generation time near about or approximately 20 minutes. So every 20 minutes, one produce 2. After 20 minutes, 2 produce 4. After 20, these 4 produce 8 like that. So the generation time or population doubling time in all medically important bacteria is 20 minutes. Three exceptions are there. For example, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, which causes the disease tuberculosis. So that one is slow growing organism, and here the population doubling time is 20 hours. Instead of minute, it may be approximately 20 hours. Another group of this Mycobacterium is the Mycobacterium leprae, which causes the disease leprosy. So that one is again very, very slow growing organism, and here the near about approximate time for the growth or for the this generation time is near about 20 days. Again, very slow growing time. So 20 days is a generation time in case of leprosy and 20 hours in case of tuberculosis. Except these two, in remaining all medically important bacteria, the generation time is near about 20 minutes. If you consider one single cell within overnight incubation, within 24-hour incubation, one cell produces 10 raised to 24 new cells. Just to think how rapidly they are growing. One cell produces 10 raised to 24 new cells. If you measure the weight of this, it is approximately near about 4,000 tons. How many? 4,000 tons. But practically it is not possible. If you think theoretically that is possible, practically it is not possible, because during the growth, Food material is over, exhaustion of food material, and also accumulation of toxic products. Few toxic products are also produced during the growth, and because of that, the death of this organism occur. But if theoretically we think it produces such a huge number and huge weight of this cell. So this is about the generation time or population doubling time. Now, the bacterial count. So in bacteria, there are two type of counts, total count and viable count. So in total count, we are measuring both, whether they are in live condition or dead condition, both type of bacteria, live bacteria as well as dead bacteria. Counting of both bacteria comes under the total count. There are various different methods, the breeding, the breeds method or microscopic method. Then we are using that culture chamber method. Then we are using the filtration. So there are so many, near about 7-8 different methods of the total count. But that is not important for your syllabus. For PG people, generally we are taking the detail about the total count or how we are performing that, counting the bacterial growth. Then another type is viable count. So in viable count, only the counting of live bacterial cell, those which are in live condition. Counting of live bacteria is called as viable. So there are again different, the dilution method is there, again filtration method is there. So in that, we are counting live bacteria. We are growing onto the, we are mixing the suspension in a culture media, we are pouring onto the plate, and after that we are counting the colony. So one rule in bacteriology, so one cell produce one colony. So one cell produce one colony after overnight incubation onto the surface of solid media. If we grow onto the solid media, one cell produce one colony, one bacteria produce one colony, and in one colony, millions of bacteria, 2 lakh bacteria may produce from that one single original cell. So we are, suppose 1 ml we are adding, and after next day we are counting the colonies, suppose 10 colonies are there, means 10 cells are present in a given suspension. Like that we are counting the viable count. Only live bacteria are able to produce the colonies. That's why this method is only applicable for viable count. So this is about the counting, total count and viable count. Now, the next and the most important point is the bacterial growth curve for your examination. Always short note onto this, right? Short note on bacterial growth curve. So after growing bacterial cell in a liquid media, in liquid suspension, liquid culture media, it shows 4 different growth phases. 4 different growth phases. So these are log phase, LOG. The another one is exponential phase or lag, LAG, lag phase, or also we are calling it as a logarithmic phase. So exponential, lag, and logarithmic phase 1 and 7. And after that, the next one is stationary phase, and finally the decline phase or death phase we are calling it. So whenever we are adding a bacterial cells into the liquid medium, it takes time for the multiplication. Multiplication will not occur immediately. So few time always required for the multiplication. What happens in that phase? That phase is called as log, L-O-G, log phase. So in log phase, what happens? Cell size is maximum. What are the characteristics? You write down the characteristic of logarithmic phase. Cell size is maximum. Cell size is increased. Now the bacterial cell is ready to multiplication, binary fission. Now it is ready. So maximum cell size is there. Another important characteristic you write. So here all important metabolites and enzymes, all important metabolites and enzymes which are required for the multiplication are synthesized. So in this phase, important metabolites and enzymes which are responsible for the multiplication, they are synthesized. So these 2 important characteristics, cell size is maximum and all important metabolite and enzymes are produced in log phase. It may be varies, the time is, in few bacteria it may be short, in few bacterial cell it may be long, depends on the culture media, depends on the physiology and morphology of that bacteria, the variation it may be short or it may be long. Now, here the metabolites are ready, enzymes is ready, present, synthesized, and that's why cell division start. So cell multiplication start exponentially. Logarithmically multiplication occurs, and here the increase in graph. So graph is parallel to the bacterial number. Number is increased now. Suppose 100 cells, 200 will be there. 200, 400 will be there. That's why the line of graph of exponential phase is parallel to the number. So that is called as an exponential phase. So now you write the characteristics of exponential phase. What are the characteristics? Here the cell size is small, because these are young cells. Cells are young. Physiologically, cells are young. Cell size is small. They stain uniformly. No variation in gram staining. Gram negative, gram positive, No any variation is there. They are physiologically young, small, and active cells. No staining variation. So this is about the exponential phase. Now the third phase start, and that is called as a stationary phase. So in stationary phase, what happens? Accumulation of food material. Here the food material is over. Exhaustion of food material. Exhaustion of food material and the accumulation of toxic product. Simultaneously, bacterial cells start the synthesis of toxic product. Secondary metabolites like the antibiotics, toxins, like that. And because of that, the cell growth is obstructed. Because of this, obstruction generally occur, and that's why the number of newly produced cell is exactly equals with the dead cell. Death of the cell occur. Suppose 100 cell produced, death of another 100 cell occur. So that's why in stationary phase, the line of graph is parallel to the time. No any increase in number. Number is constant. Same. 100 remain 100. If produce 100, death of another 100 will occur, and that's why stationary, parallel to the time. So this is about the stationary phase. Again, very important thing in stationary phase happens, or characteristic of the stationary phase, you write down. Sporulation occur in stationary phase. Sporulation means spore formation. In sporogenic bacteria, spore formation occur in stationary phase. This one is an MCQ question. Always we ask MCQ question. In which phase sporulation occur or spore formation occur? So the correct answer is stationary phase. In stationary phase only sporulation occur. Then the gram variation. Here gram variation generally occurs because sometimes gram positive may appear like a gram negative, or gram negative may appear like a gram positive. So that is called as a variation in gram staining. Then secondary metabolites are also synthesized. In this phase, secondary metabolites like metachromatic granules. In case of corynebacteria, such type of inclusion granules. In last lecture we studied lipid granules, starch granules, phosphate granules. So these metachromatic granules or other type of granules, inclusion granules, are produced in stationary phase. So these are the properties. Now the last phase is there, and that one is the death phase. So in death phase, what happens? Because of complete exhaustion of food material. Now food is not available. Food is over. Food material and accumulation of toxic product. Death of all bacteria occurs. Death of all bacterial cell occurs. And one more is the synthesis of autolytic enzymes. So synthesis of autolytic enzymes is there in this phase, and that's why lysis of cells occur, and that's why this phase is known as a decline phase. Again, the graph is lower side, down side. So down graph generally we are getting. So this is about the bacterial growth curve. Log phase, exponential phase, stationary phase, and decline phase. So very important, always short note on to this. Now we'll see the metabolism of bacterial cell. So metabolic requirement of bacterial cell. So in metabolic, bacteria must obtain or synthesize amino acid, carbohydrates, lipids, build up their for cell. Minimum requirement for the bacterial growth is carbon, nitrogen, H2O, water is there, iron and energy. So source of all these required. So generally, whenever these are grows into the atmosphere, that time they utilize all these things from the atmosphere. But whenever purposely we are growing inside the laboratory, we have to add these sources. So depends on to the ability of bacteria to synthesize all these. They are divided into different types. The first is phototrophic bacteria. Phototrophic bacteria. Those bacteria which get energy from sunlight. Those bacteria which get energy from sunlight, they are known as a phototrophic bacteria. The another term is chemotrophic bacteria. Those bacteria which gets energy from chemical reactions, they are called as a chemotrophic bacteria. Then one more is there, autotrophic bacteria. Autotrophic bacteria. Those bacteria which are able to synthesize their own metabolites. Those bacteria which are able to synthesize their own metabolites, they are known as autotrophic bacteria. So these are not harmful, these are not generally not pathogenic. So they are present into the soil and they increase the fertility of soil. So, and the last and the most important is the heterotrophic bacteria. Heterotrophs, and all medically important bacteria, all pathogenic bacteria, they are from this group. They are heterotrophs in nature. Those bacteria which are unable to synthesize their metabolite, those bacteria which are unable to synthesize their important metabolites and always depends on other, they are called as a heterotrophic bacteria. So they are called as a heterotrophic bacteria. So these are the four different groups: the phototrophic, chemotrophic, autotrophic, and heterotrophic. Now, growth requirement and metabolic byproducts classify different bacteria. Then the first is the oxygen requirement. So bacteria also require oxygen for their growth. So there are two types of bacteria. Those bacteria which require oxygen for their growth is called as a aerobic bacteria. Aerobic bacteria. And those bacteria which are unable to synthesize their own metabolites. And those bacteria which are grow in absence of oxygen. So those which grow in presence of oxygen, they are called as a aerobic bacteria. And those which are able to grow in absence of oxygen, they are called as anaerobic bacteria. The example of anaerobic bacteria is this Clostridium perfringens, then Clostridium ticani, Clostridium botulinum. All they are anaerobic in nature. They are having ability to grow in absence of oxygen. And those bacteria which grow in presence of oxygen, other than this group, all they are aerobic in nature. Again, there are few other terms. The obligatory aerobes. Obligatory aerobe means few bacteria require maximum amount of oxygen. More amount of oxygen, maximum amount of oxygen. They are called as obligatory aerobe. A well-known example is the Neisseria group, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, Vibrio cholerae. So they are aerobic, obligatory aerobes in nature. Then one more term is there, facultative anaerobe. So aerobe, anaerobic, and facultative anaerobic bacteria. So facultative anaerobic bacteria means those bacteria which grow in presence of oxygen as well as they are having ability to grow in absence of oxygen. Means middle. So they are having both. Having ability to grow in presence of oxygen or absence of oxygen. They are called as a facultative anaerobic bacteria, and maximum pathology and maximum pathogenic bacteria, medically important bacteria, they are from this group, they are facultative anaerobic in nature. Then after oxygen, one more term is there from the oxygen, microaerophilic bacteria. Microaerophilic bacteria. Those bacteria which grow in low oxygen tension. Those bacteria which grow in low oxygen tension, they are called as a microaerophilic bacteria. So this is about oxygen requirement. Now the requirement of carbon dioxide. CO2. So carbon dioxide is also required for the growth of bacteria, for all bacteria in little amount, but one group is there that require maximum amount of carbon dioxide. A group of bacteria which require maximum amount of carbon dioxide, 5 to 10%. They are called as capnophilic bacteria. So again, MCQ question it is. What do you mean capnophilic bacteria? Capnophilic bacteria. So capnophilic means those bacteria which require 5 to 10% carbon dioxide. And well-known example is Brucella abortus, again the Nigeria, then the Streptococci, then H. influenzae, Haemophilus influenzae. So they are capnophilic in nature. They require more amount of carbon dioxide. So this is about the oxygen and carbon dioxide. Now the pH, requirement of pH. So for the growth of bacteria, the pH is also a very important factor. So all medically important bacteria, they grow well, best in the pH neutral or slightly alkaline pH. Neutral or slightly alkaline type of pH. The pH is 7.2 to 7.6. So in between 7.2 to 7.6 maximum growth. Few exceptions are there. For example, Vibrio cholerae. So Vibrio cholerae grow best in alkaline pH that require 9.4. Highly alkaline pH always required for the growth of Vibrio cholerae. Or few bacteria like Lactobacillus or fungi. So they like the acidic pH. They require the acidic pH near about 4.5. So these are the few exceptions. While in all other medically important bacteria, the pH range is 7.2 to 7.6. After pH, the next factor is the temperature. So requirement of temperature. So all medically important bacteria requires the optimum temperature 37 degrees centigrade. 37 because our body temperature is 37. Human body temperature is, and we are studying the human pathogens. So they are medically important bacteria. They are having the optimum temperature 37. Optimum means where the maximum growth occurs is 37. According to the requirement of temperature, they are divided into different three types. The psychrophilic bacteria, PSY, psychrophilic bacteria. Those bacteria which grow below 20 degrees centigrade. They are psychrophilic in nature. They are called as psychrophilic bacteria. They are having ability to grow minus 7 degrees centigrade. So generally they are not medically important, but nowadays they are causing the spoilage of refrigerated food. Spoilage of refrigerated. Now the second type of bacteria is mesophilic bacteria. Those bacteria which grow best in between 25 to 40 degrees centigrade, they are called as mesophilic bacteria, mesophilic in nature, and they all medically important bacteria from this group, they are mesophilic in nature. They grow in between 25 to 40. And the another group is the thermophilic bacteria. Those bacteria which are having ability to grow high temperature above 55 to 80. 55 degree to 80 degrees centigrade, they are called as a thermophilic bacteria. Again, thermophilic bacteria, thermophils are not medically important. They are present into the soil in nature, and nowadays it is studied that they cause the spoilage of canned food. Now the juices are available in the packed can, so the spoilage of such type of canned food is because of thermophilic bacteria. So this is about the temperature requirement. Then one more term is there, thermal death time. The time where the killing of bacteria is occur, death of bacteria occur, that is called as a thermal death time. So in other bacteria, in each and every bacteria, the thermal death point is different. So this is about the oxygen requirement. Then the requirement of osmotic pressure. So definitely osmotic pressure also affects onto the growth of bacteria. A sudden transfer from this distilled water to the hypertonic solution. So sudden transfer from distilled water to hypertonic solution, plasmolysis occur. Intake of water inside the cell cytoplasm and here the bursting of cell generally occur. That is called as a plasmolysis. And here the sudden transfer from this hypertonic to this solution, that is called as a plasmoptysis. Plasmolysis and plasmoptysis. So in which the shrinkage of cytoplasm occur in plasmolysis, and here the bursting of the cell wall generally occur in plasmoptosis. So opposite it is. So that is because of the effect of the osmotic pressure. Now the requirement of mineral inorganic salts. So for the growth of these bacteria, inorganic salts generally require like the magnesium, calcium in very small amount, in trace amount. So they require, whenever these grow into the atmosphere, they utilize this from the